Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. I just want to give you all a follow up from last week's COVID shot that I got in my arm. And one of the things that was different with Moderna that I didn't experience with Pfizer is uh, some discomfort, we'll call it. Uh, Up here, the whole shoulder area. Through the weekend was very difficult to lay on. It was very, very sore. And in fact, it's just starting to go away right now, uh, as of yesterday. And it's still here today. But last night I was able to sleep on it, whereas the previous nights I couldn't sleep on it. And in fact, I ended up having to take, you know, these, the naproxen, which I use for my back and for my neck injuries and the back pains. Um, and that's how I was able to sleep. And so I've been having some sleeping issues since last week when I got the shot. And it's when I roll over on there, I mean, it's just like, ah, it hurts. And so just giving you folks a heads up. If you're going in to get your COVID shot, vaccine. Uh, I don't know what the Pfizer is like, but previously with my Pfizer shots, I didn't have any soreness, didn't have any issues, no allergies, nothing like that. And then this is the first time I've used Moderna instead of Pfizer. And the doctor did warn me. He said, you're going to have some soreness in your arm with Moderna. And so I was warned ahead of time, and that must be something that is very common with Moderna and not so much with Pfizer. So that's one of the big differences that I've noticed. But other than that, everything else is going along just fine. There's no uh, allergic reactions or anything such as that. And so I'm fully protected now. And for those of you that say, well, why did you get all of that? Well, I have a compromised immune system because of my cancer treatment that I had a number of years ago. And so with the compromised immune system, it's advantageous that I get all of the vaccines to help me from getting sick or contracting the disease or having difficulties uh, with dealing with the virus. And so, and that's what we're seeing right now. Hospital stays, uh, actually, hospital emergency rooms are seeing an uptick in COVID and RSV and also the flu. So I've had my RSV shot back in October. I had my flu shot back in October, but they couldn't give me the COVID shot, number one, because of my compromised immune system. The doctor thought it would be better to wait 30 days before I got the COVID shot. So I was supposed to go back in November, and as you know, holidays get pretty busy and pretty crazy, and so I wasn't able to get back in there. And then also there was a lot of people getting flu shots, RSV shots, COVID shots, and so there was quite a lineup. And then uh, just in front of New Year's, right after the Christmas holiday, I caught COVID. And how I know I caught COVID is because my sense of smell was completely gone. My sense of taste completely gone. The good thing is that I didn't have any kind of fever or temperature. I did have fatigue. I was more tired than normal. So that's one of the symptoms of COVID. And also, losing your sense of smell and taste is a COVID trait. And so it is still feasible for you to get your COVID, RSV, and flu shots. If you have a compromised immune system, I really highly recommend that you check with your doctor to see if it would be advantageous for you to get those shots, like I did with my doctor. And here at my age, I'm in just a few weeks, I'm turning 64. And with that comes a lot of health challenges. I'm already experiencing health challenges. As a lot of you know, I had some hip injuries from my counterterrorism day, and those are starting to come back to haunt me now. And even one person asked me, well, why don't you just get the hip replacement and everything? Well, there's something that is called quality of life. And so here's the situation that I'm in. Because of my cancer, I'm just 2 years short of being declared cancer-free and unlikely to see cancer return, and that's 2 more years. And the doctor I talked to, my oncologist, said typically we consider you cancer-free after 10 years. I am on my 8th year of being cancer-free. There was a small scare in 2017, I believe. Yeah, 2017, where I went in, got my colonoscopy again, and they found some polyps, some small polyps, but they were able to remove those polyps early on, and my doctor's scheduling me for a colonoscopy here sometime later this year. It's been since 2019 since my last colonoscopy, so we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary, and it's important that it be checked. I hate the procedure to prepare for a colonoscopy, and in my case, where I'm in a bag for the rest of my life for my number two. Doing the solution to prepare your colon for the colonoscopy, it isn't fun. It's a laxative that you have to take. It's about a gallon of laxative. You take a majority of it the night before bedtime so that you clean out your system, and then in the morning you drink the remaining. Hopefully, you have about another quart of fluid to drink, and that pretty much cleans you out. And let me tell you, that laxative runs through you pretty quick. It in under an hour, you're going to be all squeaky clean. And then after that, then you go to the hospital, they do the colonoscopy, and then you get the actually it's pretty interesting for some of you that prefer to be unconscious when it occurs, when they do the colonoscopy. You're missing out on something that's really interesting. I found it really interesting because the doctors on my first colonoscopy, they don't put you out. They put you on a sedative so that you're there but not there, so to speak. And it was amazing looking at from the camera view and seeing what the doctor sees on the monitor. You get to see the inside of your colon, and it's all shiny and clean and everything. And then when a polyp shows up, it's really interesting. It's very noticeable. You see it, and so it's important to get your colonoscopy. And the sad thing is, colon cancer is on the rise on young folks. And one of the things that during the conversation with my oncologist was, what was your diet like when you were younger? Well, I was guilty of eating a lot, I mean a lot of red meat. And it wasn't until my second marriage before I got off a lot of that red meat. I used to eat a lot of steaks, a lot of ribs, hamburgers, but a majority was steaks, prime rib, hamburgers when I was broke. Uh, uh, let's see, beef lasagna. Yeah, lasagna and beef stroganoff, were some of my favorites. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. And after I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and we talked about that, they said one of the most common things that they notice on a lot of colon rectal cancer victims is that they tended to have a high red meat diet. A high red meat diet. So after that, I changed my diet. I now do red meat no more than once a week at the most, and at times I may not do any red meat for an entire month. I'll do fish, I'll do chicken, do turkey, uh, um, shrimp. So I get away from the red meats, and I haven't had any issues since I really cut back on all my red meat intake. And so I don't know for sure if that's a factor, but it is something to be considered. And all the doctors consider that, because a lot of times there's new genetic tests that can actually test you for nearly 56 different cancers through 23andMe, or you can get the genetics test through your oncologist. If you're already being treated for cancer, you can be screened with this genetics test to see if you have a propensity to have cancer in your family genetics. They didn't find anything in mine, as I took the genetics test, as you know. They didn't find anything unique or any markers in my genetics. But yet, here's what's interesting. My grandfather, both my grandfathers had colon cancer. My dad had colon cancer, and then I had colon cancer. And probably one of the most common factors of all the families is red meat. Not so much chicken, turkey, or seafood, but red meat. So it's something to consider. And the Moderna shot, not a big deal. Uh, my insurance covered the COVID shot, as many insurance companies will cover your COVID shot. So check with your primary care doctor or your HMO that provides your primary care service. And it is still very advantageous to get your COVID, RSV, and flu shots still. There's still plenty of winter left. We still have nearly 2 months of winter to go, and we'll see what happens with the COVID, RSV, and flu. Thanks for joining me today. Go out, get your COVID shot. Stay safe and stay healthy.